Hey, everybody. I hope you're having a fabulous week. I am for one particular reason, and that's what I want to talk to you today on Quick News. Quick news with Tim's views. Okay, this is really exciting. On Monday, we found out that Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, is now the largest stakeholder in Twitter, the company Twitter. If you use Twitter, you know that for the last, 2 years, well, no longer than that, Twitter's become a dumpster fire. And it has also become one of the most censored areas of the world for right-leaning people, conservative-leaning people, people who express any kind of view that's out of mainstream left-wing progressive sexual view. Twitter silences them, threatens them, bans them, suspends them. You know, it's called Twitter jail and all that kind of stuff. Well, Elon Musk has been a rabid opponent of their censorship activities, and he's spoken out about it several times. And then a couple of days ago, he was thinking about starting something or asking if the world needed an alternative Twitter, and everybody was like, yes, please make one, please buy Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Well, he took the latter route. And as of Monday, he now holds a $3 billion stake in the company. The report was filed, and the stock, Twitter stock, skyrocketed like 30% in one day, and then another 5% on Tuesday. Now it's Wednesday. Anyway, in just that amount of time, he made approximately $1 billion in unrealized gains from his investment. So from $2.64 billion to about $3.84 billion. Wow, pretty good. Of course, a lot of people are thinking about the last 5 years for Tesla's stock, which has skyrocketed astronomically under the leadership of Elon Musk. And a lot of people call him a lightning rod. A lot of people think he's crazy. A lot of people think he's brilliant. I think he's a genius. And I value him, most notably because he's from South Africa and my wife is from South Africa. Anyway, the Twitter CEO, Parag Agrawal, I think that's how you say it. Forgive me if I'm butchering his name, but Parag tweeted out, "I'm excited to share that we're appointing Elon Musk to our board. Through conversations with Elon in recent weeks, it became clear to us that he would bring great value to our board." Well, wow. This is exciting. The guy who was critiquing Twitter for its censorship and for its restriction of free speech on the platform is now a board member of the platform. And by the way, the largest shareholder of Twitter stock. He owns 1/10 of the company. And he is, that is, I think, 5 times as much as Parag Agrawal, sorry if I am mispronouncing it, owns of the stock. Anyway, a couple of changes that are coming right off the bat. It doesn't have anything to do with Elon, but they are going to be adding an edit button, an edit the tweet button, which I tend to think is a bad idea. Here's why. Twitter is known for allowing something to go viral. That's what makes it the unique platform that it is. You tweet something, you can't change it, you can't edit it, it goes viral, it's there forever, and you can only delete it. And then I think it makes you think, if a tweet goes viral and then people start editing it because it starts getting more and more viral, and then they're going to make more and more edits as it gets more viral. And then before you know it, it's like the telephone game that you used to play with your friends, where you used to say something, and by the time it got to the last friend whispering it into the other person's ear, it was completely different than what it started out with. I don't know, but that's one change that's coming to Twitter. Immediately, the blue check marks on Twitter's platform, a lot of the progressive left-leaning people who used to tell people who would complain about Twitter censorship that Twitter was a privately owned company, and if you don't like it, go elsewhere. They suddenly started to freak out that Elon Musk owned a large portion of their company, which was kind of fun to watch. It is a privately owned company, but it is also publicly traded. I'm sorry, not privately owned company. It's a private company, publicly traded. And as such, if you buy a portion of the stock, or if you buy a portion of the company, you can have say in the direction of the company. Well, all of this is kind of fun to watch. And then, of course, people are already calling for Donald Trump to come back. This is all over Twitter. You know that Twitter banned Donald Trump shortly after January 6th in 2021. But Twitter released a statement saying the following. Twitter says it has no plans to reinstate former President Donald Trump's account, despite Elon Musk vowing to make significant improvements to the social media platform after becoming the company's largest shareholder and a member of its board of directors. Twitter is committed to impartiality. Yeah, right. In the development and enforcement of his policies and rules, the company told dailymail.com on Tuesday, our policy decisions are not determined by the board or shareholders, and we have no plans to reverse any policy decisions. As always, our board plays an important advisory and feedback role across the entirety of our service. Our day-to-day operations and decisions are made by Twitter management and employees, the company added. Okay, this is kind of funny to hear Twitter say it's not going to listen to the board. Of course they're going to listen to the board. They have to listen to the board. The board of directors is just that. The board of directors, not suggesters. So this is going to be kind of interesting to see it play out over the next couple of weeks or months or years maybe, and we'll see what happens. I'd love for the Twitter ban of the Babylon Bee to stop immediately. Many of you remember this. I reported on the deep end that the Babylon Bee was forced into Twitter exile because it reported that in satire, Rachel Levine, the transgender woman, was Babylon Bee's Man of the Year. I mean, that's just funny, but Twitter didn't think it was funny, so they banned Babylon Bee, and Babylon Bee refuses to apologize for the tweet, refuses to take it down, and so they remain in Twitter jail. This is kind of why I'm excited about, this is very much why I'm excited about Elon Musk becoming a board member and largest stakeholder of Twitter. You remember a few months ago that Elon Musk sat down with the Babylon Bee's creators for about a 3-hour-long video that you can watch on YouTube. So he's a fan of free speech, and he's a fan of the Babylon Bee, which is now presently in Twitter jail. And we also know that Elon Musk has been a longtime critic of Twitter, saying on March 26, 2022, given that Twitter serves as the de facto public town square, failing to adhere to free speech principles fundamentally undermines democracy. What should be done? And then he tweeted out later, is a new platform needed? Then the day before this tweet, he actually tweeted out, free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? And overwhelmingly, the vote was no, 70% no, 29.6% yes. So this is kind of interesting that here he is playing around with the idea that there's a problem with Twitter, that there is no real freedom of speech on the platform, that though it promotes itself as a social platform, it really is this kind of police force for the unacceptable, to make sure that unacceptable views, aka non-sexually progressive, non-pro-LGBTQ, non-pro-left-wing social values views are policed and reprimanded and, if necessary, removed and banned. And he has a problem with it, and so do I, and so should you. Even if you are one of those people, you should have a problem with Twitter restricting the speech of people whose speech you don't like. That is just a fact. In fact, it was Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, who on April 2nd tweeted out the following: the days of Usenet, IRC, the web, even email were amazing. Centralizing discovery and identity into corporations really damaged the internet. I realize I'm partially to blame, and I regret it. And that was a profound expression. That was a profound confession on Jack Dorsey's part there. Here he is, the founder of Twitter. Now he stepped down from the board of directors and CEO, I think 6 months ago or so. And he's admitting that the early days of the web were a heck of a lot more fun and amazing than they are now, as the web has been co-opted by big tech companies that are in lockstep with one side of our governmental regulators. And here he is admitting it and saying, I'm partly to blame. And so hats off to Jack. But remember, too, that Jack Dorsey is a friend of, I don't know how close of a friend, but is very friendly with Elon Musk, which I will show you. He was on a roundtable discussion on YouTube with Elon Musk and ARC Innovations' Kathy Wood discussing the future of Bitcoin. And you can go and watch that video on YouTube. It is tremendously boring and random and rambling, but nonetheless, here you have Elon Musk, now the largest shareholder of the company that Jack Dorsey founded, as Jack Dorsey laments what his company and he has been involved in creating the internet and social media to become. That's just really quite interesting. A couple other reasons why you should be excited about this. Remember the bombshell reporting of the New York Post when right before the 2020 election, it talked about this Hunter Biden laptop story, and then it reported it, and Twitter just randomly decided, you know what, it's substantiated, so we're just going to ban your account. They banned the account of the New York Post. Like, they banned a free newspaper from its platform because it reported on an event that is actually true. The New York Times has validated the Hunter Biden laptop story. And so because, though, the narrative or the news item from the New York Post didn't fit with the narrative of the heads of state over at Twitter, they were banned. And President Donald Trump remains under a permanent ban from Twitter. But ironically, the government of Russia is freely allowed to tweet, as well as other world dictators are allowed to tweet. This is just kind of like the hypocrisy of Twitter that has been roiling people like Elon Musk and myself and others who are seeing the hypocrisy and know something needs to be done. And wouldn't you know, somebody with the money and the social clout to do something actually has done something. Elon Musk, my hat is off to you. My question now is free speech coming back to Twitter? And yes, Twitter is a private company. It's not a governmental enterprise. Get it. I totally get it. But remember how quickly Amazon Web Services kicked off Twitter's alternative Parler when January 6th happened, and how quickly they were to make sure that Parler was blacklisted from any web host across the board. Yeah, there is no such thing as freedom of expression. You know, when they say, oh, don't criticize Twitter, just form your own one. Then you form your own one, and then they kick you off the web service. I mean, that's what happens. They're all in league together. It's the big tech conglomerate that is in league with one side of the federal government right now and is suppressing the speech of those who would oppose or express an alternative, in their words, unacceptable opinion. Some say removing Section 230 of the Constitution or laws about free speech would hold these social media companies accountable. What that does, it effectively makes Twitter or Facebook publishers, but then that opens the door for any blogger to be liable for someone's post or comment on their site. So there is a lot of debate about whether removing Section 230 protections is the right move. But those are my thoughts. I'm excited that Elon Musk is now the largest stakeholder of Twitter. I enjoy Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, please do, at Tim Hatch Live. I would love you to follow me, and I love to have the conversation and go back and forth. Other than that, that's all I have for Quick Hit News. I'm glad that you guys stopped by to see this video, and I look forward to being back with you on The Deep End, which comes back this Tuesday coming up at 7:30 p.m. God bless, guys. Take care, and go free speech.